Hello, in this video I'm going to cover part 3 in the series of point farming for public dungeons in the game, where we travel to the public dungeons in the game, killing the group event boss and grabbing Skyshards along the way. This is one of the best and fastest way to get skill points on your character, in my opinion. So in this video we are going to cover the Ebonheart Pact. If you didn't miss, or if you didn't catch, I should say, video 1 and 2, we've already done the Aldmeri Dominion and the Daggerfall Covenant. So this being part 3, we're going to start off with Stonefalls. So we're going to be doing Stonefalls, Deshaan, Shadowfen, Eastmarch, and the Rift. I suppose I'll throw in Coldharbour as well, just to finish off the base game group. So I will include Coldharbour in this video, just so we don't have to do a video on its own, and then we can have a fresh start with the DLC zones. Without further ado, if you missed my previous 2 videos in this series, I will link those in the description of this one, so you can locate that if that's something you want to find and follow along with. I did quite a bit of a longer intro on the very first one, where we did the Aldmeri ones, explaining the add-on setups and why I recommend to use those. They are definitely not required to do this process, but it does make it a lot nicer and easier. You can still look this stuff up in the in-game menus if you don't have add-ons. For example, if you go into your map like this and hold the square button to open the zone guide in PlayStation, you'll have to hit your corresponding button for whatever platform you are on. But you're going to want to go to Stonefalls, and if you see where it says group event here, if it does not have a date next to that, then that means you've not completed it on your character that you're on. And so that is the indicator of whether or not you need to grab the group event boss from that public dungeon. Another way you can look at to see if you've gotten the Skyshard, if you're not aware, we're going to go to Stonefalls on the map, and you hover over the actual public dungeon, and then you can look over off to the right, and it will tell you whether or not the Skyshard has been located, or if it's been acquired, or if it's been undiscovered. If you've seen the Skyshard and you didn't get it, then it's been discovered, but it hasn't been collected. If you've actually gotten the Skyshard, it will say acquired, just like it does there. I've already done this public dungeon on this character, but I'm going to do this in the video anyway, so just so that we have this in the video. So first off, we're going to start off with going to Stonefalls, and if you don't have access on your character to get to Stonefalls, there's a couple of things you can do. You can either travel to Daven's Watch would be the best way to get there, using the boat system. The other way would be to travel to one of the houses in Stonefalls. There is this Ebonheart Chateau. You could travel here and then ride east over to Daven's Watch. That would be a quick way of doing it. You could use home tours to do that. I've done that quite a few times in the first and second video, so I'm not going to do that here. But in most cases, I believe people have access to Stonefalls in one way or another. Worst comes to worst, you could always have a guildie jump you to this way shrine here. But without further ado, we're just going to get started by jumping to Daven's Watch, and then we will run down to the public dungeon, and we'll talk you through how to get the Skyshard as well as the group event boss in the Crows group public dungeon, and get the group event boss done. So you're just going to want to ride, once you get into the city, kind of ride east. And if you've been to Daven's Watch a lot, there's a lot of activities during like the Witches Festival and whatnot. Maybe the Jubilee or Jesters Festival that you come here for. So you should be fairly familiar with this area, but the public dungeon is just past this little barn area or tavern, whatever that is. And then you're coming in here, and then you got to open this chest at the back of the cave here to go inside of the public dungeon. It opens a portal. You'll go in the portal. And then once you're inside the Crow's Wood, I would recommend turning around immediately from where you land right here. And as you can see on the mini map, this is a really nice add-on to have, so you can just kind of pay attention. From this little way shrine here, you're going to want to go over here to the water, and you're going to swim west. And as you can see on the map there on the bottom left corner of the screen, I've already gotten the Skyshard, but this is where the Skyshard is located. I'm going to swim right on back there and show you. You basically have to go to the backside of this little island here. I'm just going to avoid the wisps as best I can so I don't get in combat. But then the Skyshard is right here on the backside. As you can see, when you port in, it's right here. So we're just going to swim back this way and grab the Skyshard right here. Once you're at this point, then you can basically just come back around the front here and run north, dodging all of these. This is a boss right here. If you want to kill that, you can, but that is not the group event boss that we want to kill. She is actually all the way up here. We'll have to, I can tell you where it's at. I don't think it's on the map right now, but we're just going to run past all of this here. We're going to run towards this cave over this way. And that's where another boss is. We're going to run up the hill and into the spider cave. And again, if you're interested in the build that I'm running, this is the pure class sorcerer build that I made. I call it the circuit breaker. I can also link the video in the description if you're interested in the build at all. But basically, once you get through that tunnel, you're going to follow the landscaping around here, around the corner. You're going to fight these giant bats right here. They're always in the way. And you're just going to keep following the pathway around this way. When you get around to this point here, there's a little tunnel. You're going to go through the tunnel here to the left. And now you're going to be going eastward. You'll see this staircase. You're going to go through this kind of broken arch and down the stairs. And as you can see, we're headed down towards this way. This is the group event boss right here. And again, the way you get this group event boss to come out, she's already out actually. So if she's not up when you get here, there are several spirits that are in the area. So this is the boss that you need to kill to get the skill point. If she's not up and you see some spirits around this area, you need to kill all the spirits in the area, and then this boss will spawn Geislane, the Wraith. So we're going to look at the next location here. We're going to go into the skills, into the what's missing, and after Stonefalls is Deshaan, so we're going to need to go to the Forgotten Crypts. And so we're going to take a look at Deshaan. And there is a house here near the Forgotten Crypts. It's called the Velothi Revelry. So I'm going to use home tours because that'll speed up the process. So we're just going to go into the browse homes like I always do and go into the all homes, and we're going to look for the Velothi Revelry. Select that and travel to the house. And again, because this is an owned house by somebody, I can walk right out the front door, and then I will be in Deshaan, in the vicinity of the public dungeon. Not right next to it, but there are a couple of things that I'm going to recommend that you do in the area. I'll cover that as soon as I walk out the door here. As you can see, I am now in Deshaan. And again, you can do this on any character. You don't have to have the Wayshrine Discovery. However, you can see I am now on the western side of Deshaan. So a couple of things that you can do while you're over on this side. As you can see, there are quite a lot of lore books in this area scattered around. You can grab this Skyshard, and then there's another one way down here. I don't know if that's too far out of your way, but if you grab stuff in the area and on the way, this is going to make it so it's a more fruitful run through. For example, we can run through in here to Lady Laurel's delve here, grab that Skyshard, discover this dolmen, and then go in here and grab the group event boss. There's a lot of different things that you can kind of mix in to make this process end up having a lot of skill points for your characters. So if you got the mini map going like this, you can really make this a really good progression for your character. Anything that you're going to run by that you're going to discover, such as this area right here, that's going to give you some XP. So you might want to make sure that you're slotting specific skills on your both front and back bar to level some skills while you're running around doing this. Having a companion out is another way to make sure this goes really easy, because companions can be really effective at taking care of overland enemies. Like you can grab the blue book here. Again, you can walk inside this delve, get the discovery for that. We'll just walk through this delve since it's really close, show you how easy and quick it is to grab the Skyshard. Now I have this delve memorized because this is a very frequent delve that I come to during the Witches Festival, because you can basically just run around here, grab the Skyshard, the boss is right there. It's really easy to get a Witches Festival box from killing that delve boss right there. It's a very easy dungeon to run through and kill stuff. The Kwamas are not very difficult at all to handle. It's a very easy low-level dungeon. And you can kind of dodge some of them too by going a little bit wide like this, and maybe a little bit. As you can see, I can pretty much run past almost everybody without too much problem. And if you've got your companion set up pretty well, then they can help you kind of nuke down these guys as well. And as you can see, the boss is up. I'm going to go ahead and grab the Skyshard first, and then we'll go ahead and nuke the boss just for it. Get some XP for that. And there we go. That boss is done. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and leave the delve. We've gotten the Skyshard from that, and we're going to proceed back to our normally scheduled routine of getting the public dungeon, Skyshard, and group event bosses. But I always recommend trying to reveal as much as you can, especially dolmens, while you're running past it, because if you ever want to do dolmens in the area, maybe you need to farm jewelry for the overland sets or whatnot. Who knows? Maybe you're just doing Fighter's Guild dailies. The dolmen is actually going off right now. We're going to go ahead and bypass that. And we're going to go right into the public dungeon here. There is a blue lore book right here. I'm going to grab that as well. So as you can see, if you kind of have this mini map on and the map pins, it really, really helps a lot to get this kind of stuff, and you can kind of batch up a bunch of different tasks together. So right now we're going to go in, and I'm going to go to the group event first. And so when you get in here, you're going to kind of have to go through a couple of turns. You come down these stairs, and then you're going to come down to the right. Another good public dungeon here if you wanted to work on your fighter skill, because there's a lot of skeletons in here. Not the best way to do that, but if you're just looking for a laid back area to do, there's a lot of enemies in here that are skeletons that are going to help you get your fighter's guild up. Dolmens is probably the best way to do that. But so to get to the group event boss, we need to come down this way to the very south. So we're just going to follow this area here. And we're going to go through this archway. And if the group event boss is not up like this, you just need to look around this area. And there are quamas that come up in these corners. You need to kill those quamas first, and then the group event boss will come up. So if there's that guy, I believe, chased me in here, so he doesn't count. There's quamas that spawn up and like this right here. The quama scrib and the quama drones. You need to kill all these in order to get the group event boss to spawn. So if we can nuke those down like that, and then take these ones out. All right, there's the group event boss right here. We'll just go ahead and literally nuke them down like that. And that is the group event boss. So the Skyshard is going to be straight north from here pretty much. You're going to have this little jog to get around this way, but you're pretty much straight north from here. So we're just going to go back out the tunnel, straight north on the map there. We're going to go around this little jog here. If you get any kind of challenges to kill ghosts, maybe you're still working on the challenge difficulty stuff where you have to kill certain types of enemies on the challenge difficulty, this is a good dungeon to come into getting the ghosts, because there's quite a few ghosts. Skeletons as well, but the ghosts are a little bit more hard to come by, so I would recommend coming in here for the ghosts for sure. But we're going to go ahead and kill these guys here. And the Skyshard is straight ahead. This guy just grabbed it. And as you can see, the Skyshard is right there on that wall. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the skill tracker again. And we're going to check the next area is Shadowfen. Now this is a little bit different of a situation, because Shadowfen doesn't have a whole lot of housing near the public dungeon that's right here. And I've actually never been in this public dungeon, so that's kind of a good thing to show you guys. But there is the ample domicile. We can travel to this, grab this Skyshard, and then run over to the public dungeon. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the home tours one more time, and we're going to sort out to the ample. It's probably alphabetized with the ample. So we'll get down here and we'll uncheck the Velothi, and we'll use the ample domicile, and we'll travel to that, and we'll grab the stuff in Shadowfen. And again, if these videos are too long for you, I am putting chapters in them, as I always do. You can always jump forward if you want to see the next location, or if you're just trying to get the skill event group event boss location. I do put chapters in these videos to show which sections are which. So now that we're in Shadowfen, I'll walk out the door here. We'll grab Skyshard, head towards the public dungeon. And I like to just pinpoint the Skyshard with my map there like that, so that I can have a specific point to run to. And the Skyshard is actually up, so I got to go back over this bridge. Up the hill. And up around this way, and then once we're up and over here like this, we can drop down. And just be careful not to run off the ledge too far, because you could overshoot and miss the Skyshard. But we're going to grab that, while we're doing that, I'm going to back out of that, and we're going to mark the public dungeon. So there we have the Skyshard, and now we're going to run off to the east outside the main city here, and we're going to run to the public dungeon and grab the group event boss and the Skyshard inside of there. And there is another blue book that you're able to grab right on the other side of this bridge if you want to grab that while you're there. If you take care of these blue books while you're doing other activities, you can really make a lot of progress on your Mages Guild. Or if you ever want to use the Mora's Whispers Mythic, you're going to have a lot of progress on getting that to be more effective if you make sure you grab Mages Guild books as you're walking through areas. This is really going to help kind of fill in the gaps of your character quite well. So this is kind of a different layout from some public dungeons. It's got some really windy, twisty, turny places, but we're basically going to run straight over here to the right, grab this Skyshard, then we're going to run past here, and then from this spot we're going to go straight north up to the group event boss, which is Master Grell. So that's what I'm going to mark there. As soon as we get to this junction, I'm just going to take a right and run all the way down that way. So you can use the mini map to keep track of that. I know there was a time when I was farming a lead. This is one of the this is one of the areas I believe it was for when I was trying to farm the it might have been the Harpooner's Waiting Kilt lead for the glass beads. I believe it was called. I can't remember the name of that lead offhand, but that's the lead I used to farm in here. So that if you're still trying to get that mythic for some reason, this might be a good place for you to try and get that. Alchemy nodes in Shadowfen is one of them. And as you can see, the Skyshard is right around this little rock here formation. And as soon as you get that, we're going to turn right back around and go back the direction that we came. And as you can see, these guys respawn a lot. If you're looking to kill Dremora, perhaps you're trying to get one of the leads from the Spalder of Ruin. There's a lot of Dremora in this public dungeon. As you can see, they're littered throughout this front portion of the dungeon. Okay, so you don't want to go here. You want to go up this next one on the right. And as you can see, the guys are already respawning, the ones that I killed on the way in. There's an Ogrim here. All right, and this is the area that we want to turn right and go north. And the group event boss is pretty much all the way north in this public dungeon through this little walkway here. And there's the area here. The group event boss is actually right there up top. All you have to do is kill these little bangkins and he'll come down and fight you along with two other guys here. They have Grell Retribution and Grell Resolve. And he's dead. And there's my skill point. So that is how you kill the group event boss. And as you can see, there's Sanguine's group event achievement. That happens when you have not done the achievement previously. That was one of the first ones in this series that I've actually done for my character. So we're going to check off what's the next one left. Next is Eastmarch, the Hall of the Dead. So what I'll do is we'll just verify the Eastmarch map. There's a house that is right inside the town. It is called the Gearmarth's Woe. So we're going to use the home tours once again. As you can see, this is a really easy, effective way to get around. You don't need to wait for anybody to port you anywhere. You can just come into the home tours like this. If you did have a other house checked previously, I recommend unchecking it and only having one selected at a time. That's just going to make sure you jump to the right house and you don't have to double check what you're doing there. We'll just port out of here, go to the house, and then we'll walk out the door like we did previously. We'll check the town for any collectibles that we may want to grab. Maybe there's a Skyshard sitting real close. If not, we'll just head right to the public dungeon and get right to business. So we'll walk out the front door, and we're in Eastmarch just that quickly. So check out Windholm. Is there anything that we want to grab in the town? It doesn't look like it. So I'm just going to, there are some blue books. So again, if you want to grab these blue books and kind of, farm those as well thoroughly, you can do that. For the purposes of this video, I'm just going to focus on getting to the public dungeon and then showing you how to get the stuff that's in there. So the quickest way to get there is just kind of jump across the gaps here, right up the stairway. It's where you can get up and over the top of these areas, and then you can drop down where the public dungeon is. It's on the other side of this. And the Hall of the Dead is right here. And this one is this one is a rather large public dungeon, but it is a very easy way to get to the group event boss here. Basically, we're going to come over here and kill this boss right here. So it is kind of a windy, twisty, turny area right this direction, but once we get to this point, it's pretty much staying on this side of the map and coming around to grab the Skyshard after we kill the group event boss. But we're just going to watch the mini map here is going to help you navigate this really quickly without getting too lost. Just keep an eye on where you're going, because if you do get in combat, if you have the settings like I do, I don't like to have my mini map on when I get into combat, because it can block enemies from coming into your view. So, but if you got it like mine, as soon as you kill the enemies, the map comes right back up, and you can kind of pay attention to it that way. Okay, so we're going to progress right on through this direction. And we're going to go all the way down and to the right. And we're going to get through this doorway here. And when you get to the frosted area, then you know you're kind of getting on your way into the tunnel that doesn't have as many cutaways in it. When you get through this doorway right here, there's an ice wraith to kill. This tunnel, you'll be able to see the Skyshard right there. It's in an elevated position, and unfortunately what you have to do is go all the way down and around to get to it. And so basically what you want to do is follow along this lower path here, and this is actually going to take you right by where the public dungeon group boss is. And so once you get in this tight tunnel, it can be really easy to bypass and not see the cutaway. So what I would recommend is putting a mark right where you need to turn. That way when you get to that part, you can kind of turn and go into the area that you need to, so you don't miss it. So it is easy to kind of just walk right past tight corners in here. But when you get inside here, just like a lot of the other public dungeons, you want to go ahead and kill the guys that are in the room. And once you do that, that's going to open up, or I should say, have the main boss spawn. And that main boss is actually up here at the top of the stairs. and he's sitting in this chair right here. So as soon as those enemies right in this area get killed and taken care of, you'll see the main group event boss will start talking in the room, and he will come alive and you can kill him for your skill point. So there he is right there. So he's getting up out of his chair, so all you have to do is come over here. Alright, so that is the group event boss. As you can see, I just gained a skill point from killing him. So we're going to go right back out of the room that we came in, and we're going to run out this door, all the way out the tunnel here. And then when we get to this area here, there's a book to read. You can grab that if you want to. Take a left, and we're not going to go back the way we came. We're just going to keep on progressing further into the public dungeon so we can grab the Skyshard. So we're going to walk around. There are some pages to read if you want to read them. So we're going to go around this here. And then when we get to this T section right here, that's where we want to take a right. So I'm going to mark that on the map. And as soon as we get to that location, which is right here, we're going to take a right and we're going to walk straight to the north. And there's going to be a doorway up here at the top of the stairs. We're going to go through this doorway. And then once we get in the doorway, you can go over here to the platform. Just make sure you don't run off the edge. Make sure you go slow enough to where you don't run off the edge, because this you'll have to go all the way around like where we were before. So once you grab the Skyshard, we'll be jumping to the next location. So we'll just check what's next up. After Eastmarch is the Rift. So this is a very commonly used area for a lot of different missions, getting the subclassing going. A lot of times people use it for the werewolf location. There's a lot of different things you can do here, but the group event public dungeon is way over here on the western side. There's not really a whole lot of stuff in this area except for this house right here. So we're going to use August's Gate, and we're going to jump to that house because that'll speed this up quite a bit. When we get there, we can grab the two way shrines. So that'll increase our travel ability for future. If we ever need to come over here to the western side of the rift, we're going to have more way shrines to grab, or I should say have access to, and then that'll be resolved for future use, as well as going into the public dungeon, grabbing the Skyshard, and getting the skill point from killing the group event boss. All right, we'll just walk right out the door now that we're there. And there's a couple of things in this area that you can look at revealing if you want to add some XP to something. If maybe you put some skills on your character. There is a Skyshard right over here. Really easy to get because it's not that far away. This right here is the Night Mother's Gaze craftable set. Really nice craftable set for PvP. Whenever you do critical damage, you apply Major Breach to your enemy for 4 seconds. So this can be a really nice one to use for PvP if you're looking for a good craftable set. But we're just going to run right over to that Skyshard because it's only 200 meters or 300 meters away, and it's really easy to get while we're on our horse. Just run over there, grab it, and then we'll be right headed back towards grabbing the 2 way shrines and then headed to the public dungeon. Again, we're getting some discovery points as well. Try and stay close to everything here so we don't aggro stuff. So we're going to grab this way shrine, and then we'll head over to this way shrine as well. Or excuse me, Skyshard. So we'll grab this first. And you know what? We might as well try and grab that as well. So we'll just grab that Skyshard as well, just to add some value to this trip. Getting some more Skyshards. Every 3 Skyshards equates to a skill point. So anytime you can add that in and mix it into the equation, you're going to make this process a lot more fruitful in the end. So again, if this is a little bit long of a video for you, you can always jump along in chapters, but I'm trying to make a good guide for people to use for putting some meat on the bones of your alternate characters, because I know it's really easy just to kind of get them to CP, power level stuff, get them going. But the real problem is when you do that, you just don't have a whole lot of skill points to work with. And so if you just take a couple of days to go through this kind of a process, you can really end up with a lot of skill points for your characters. And it is really a nice thing to have to work with once you get that all done and handled. So we're going to go ahead and grab this Skyshard here as soon as I handle these worm cult guys. All right, so now I'm going to mark the way shrine. We'll go grab the way shrine now that we've gotten the Skyshard. Since it's very close now, we don't have to get off the mount for any of this now. We can just run by the way shrine. Make sure that ticks off. Go ahead and mark this next one. We'll ride up there, grab that way shrine, and then we'll head over to the last Skyshard, and then we'll grab the public dungeon when we get inside there. But if you see, there's a lot of stuff you can grab on the way. There might be a blue book to grab, a blue mage's book. You can jump off and grab them if you want to. That'll make, again, that'll make this a lot more fruitful if you grab that stuff on the way. Anytime you run past one of these striking locales, you can kind of just ride up close to it, get the reveal XP like that, and then turn right around and leave. Doesn't cost you anything but the time to just run up there real quick, grab that. And as you can see, I'm getting XP for revealing this stuff. You grab that way shrine, we'll go down here and get that Skyshard towards the south a little ways here. And as soon as you run away from a lot of these guys, they're going to leash back to their location. They won't just in never-ending chase you, basically. So what you can do is just, and another thing is, sometimes when you kill an enemy that you're close by, sometimes that will pull you out of combat as well. Or if you've got somebody that's persistent like this guy, if you just attack them once, they'll leash back to their location. So you can do that. As you can see, my Ember is down there taking care of the guys in the tent. So we'll just mark the group event public dungeon there. And this one is another one that's kind of large. But the nice thing about this one is when you get inside of the group event, or excuse me, public dungeon, when you get inside this one, you can actually ride your mount in this one. Something that some people may not know. The Lion's Den public dungeon is one of the few places, because it's kind of so large and it's outdoor, you can actually get on your mount in the very first part of this dungeon and ride all the way past everything. So what we're going to do, if you want to do the mission, you can absolutely do that. I'm not going to do that in this video because it's going to be more time consuming. These are already pretty long videos. So what you want to do is you just want to run straight to the back of the area here, and there's going to be a big gate you see across the bridge here. We're going to go through this bridge, across the bridge, through the gate, through this other gate, and once you get past that, you're going to go straight up to the south hill here, and we're going to walk through this door here into the Giant's Crush. Now, inside this cave, unfortunately, you cannot ride your mount. However, the group event boss is right up here at the top of this hill. And it is basically you just kill this mammoth and this other mammoth, and then a giant will come out. And you have to kill the giant. And he is the group event boss, essentially. So once you kill him, it goes dark like this. And then there's the giant. If you kill this guy, he is the group event boss. And as you can see, that gives me the skill point. So while you are in here, when you're facing this big bonfire here, if you look across the way, you're just going to want to go across. So we're going to go straight over this way to this doorway. But we're going to stand here and face the south. You're going to turn left. Go across this little stream here where this dead mammoth is. Keep running up the hill. And there's a doorway to go up this way and out to the lion's den. When you get out this door, you're not going to go very far. You're just going to go up to this area, turn left right in between the tree here, and you're going to go over around. You have to go around the front of this, apparently. And then you can get the Skyshard right there. So now that we've gotten the group event and the Skyshard in Eastmarch, now we'll go into the skill tree. What's missing again? And that was the rift. Now we'll go to Coldharbour for the very last area of the video. So that was all of the Ebonheart Pact areas. We did Shadowfen, Deshaan, Stonefalls, the Rift, and Eastmarch. So just to finish out the base game, we're going to go over here to the Village of the Lost public dungeon. And this is a really good one to land on because if you get ported to the Everfull Flagon Way Shrine, what I like to do is ride down here, grab this Skyshard, go in the delve, grab that Skyshard, right up here and grab this Skyshard. There's a Skyshard right outside of the public dungeon, and then you can go in. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 Skyshards that you can grab right tight in this area and then go in the public dungeon. It's really nice, but for the purposes of speeding up the video, I'm just going to port to my house hotkey and Northern Elsewhere. Again, I have shown that in the previous videos, so if you're curious about the house hotkey add-on, I will again leave the add-ons playlist in my description. So gonna head to Coldharbour for this one. Again, we're gonna go to the Everfull Flagon Way Shrine, and then we'll be riding northeast from here. This is a fairly easy dungeon to get to because you kind of just jump off of a cliff and kind of run through some water. But again, if you're going to do, like I said, where you're just running around and grabbing this stuff, you could probably screenshot or pause the video here to get an idea. I would recommend coming down here, grabbing this, go in the delve, come and grab this Skyshard. So there's the Among the Vessel's Burnt Cousins white Skyshard, then the Vault of Hamon Forgefire Delve, grab that Skyshard, and then come up here to the Unfit for Court Skyshard, and then right straight east from there to grab the Ejected from the Village, and then we're going to go into the Village of the Lost. I'm not going to do that in the video because I've already collected that on this character, but as you can see, it's fairly close and tight to grab. There is some clan fears in the area, so I wouldn't recommend remaining still for very long in the area because they can kind of aggro on you and cause you a problem. But if you keep heading kind of northeast, you'll bypass. Here's the Way Shrine, or excuse me, the Skyshard right outside the public dungeon on this little ice barge there. And then you're going to come up into the Village of the Lost public dungeon gate. Now this one can be a little bit tricky finding the Way Shrine and the group event, but that's why I'm doing these videos, so you can kind of see exactly where to go and how to get these, and this will speed up your farm. You can do this on multiple characters and really get a lot of skill points on your guys, really get some meat on the bones. You can be able to put on a lot of different types of builds on them. Perhaps maybe you want to switch around from having different front bar weapons and you don't want to respec your skills all the time. Well, if you get a lot of skill points on, you can just have free to move around stuff. It's a lot easier. So you tried this out on several different characters. It's always also, this is a very leisurely, laid back type of activity. It's not difficult to do, especially if you get a good AoE setup on your build. Take your companion with you. You can get some good XP while you're doing it. Once you get up this first little jog here, essentially what we're going to do is we're going to jump over this ledge and we're going to go straight north. When we get out of the water here, sometimes takes a minute to swim back up to the top. This is another good area to find Dremora if you're trying to hunt Dremora for some reason. This is a very thick area to farm because, again, public dungeon enemies, they respawn really well. But we're going to bypass these first two doors for the purposes of this video. What we're looking for is the Skyshard and the group event boss, and neither of those are located in those doors. So we're going to run down this corridor, and as you can see, there's a little island off to the left there. We're going to go over there because that is where the Skyshard is located. So we're going to take care of these guys just so we don't get in continuous aggro. Sometimes these guys chase you pretty relentlessly. So now you get down to the end of this runway here, and the Skyshard is at the end. You can kind of see it there off the end there. I'll take care of all of these guys and make sure that you can see there's a little mob right here next to it. You can kill these guys here like that, and then grab the Skyshard, and then we're going to go straight back out the way we came. Back up top here. And then when we get to the end of this little runway here, we're going to turn left and go north, and the group event boss is straight up north here. So we're going to go north from that direction. Kill the Dremoras here. Once you get up this little wooden ramp right here, you get up this wooden ramp, there's a little doorway off to the left here. That's the door you want to go in. And this is called the Subterranean Cavern. As you can see, it's right there on the map. There is another boss in here. If you want to kill this boss, you can. I'm just going to run in. You go into this little tunnel over here. And there is clan fairs on the way. Essentially, very similar to how you had to do before. As always, you got to kill the enemies that are in the room, and that'll help get the main group event boss to spawn. You basically just have to wait in this room here for him to show up. He kind of flies through this area up this way and will land. It's a big Titan guy. Again, if you want to check if you've gotten the group event boss, all you have to do is hit your map button, hit your corresponding button to open your zone guide. For PlayStation, that is the square button. You hold it. Once you get up to this area right here, you'll be able to see the group event boss right here. If you have a date under it, that means you've already killed him and you've already gotten the skill point for killing him. So this is where the enemies are actually out now, so I can actually show you what he looks like. He's very reminiscent of, I believe his name is the Ancient One. Or no, that's it, Asiskra, from the Vaults of Madness dungeon, the big Titan. So as soon as we kill these Twilights here, he should come out. Again, you can just watch for him up stairs or up in the sky. There's his name there, and there he's flying around, and he'll land on the ground here, and then we can take him out. All right, and if you have not gotten the skill point from him yet, it will process on your character at that point. But that is going to be the end of this video. If you are interested in more of these videos, I have already done the Aldmeri Dominion and the Daggerfall Covenant areas. This was the Ebonheart Pact and Coldharbour. So coming up in the next video in the series, I will be starting in on the DLC zones. We'll probably do Hrothgar, Somerset, and Northern Elsewhere to cover those areas. Make sure these aren't very super long, but I wanted to go through all of the public dungeons and give you guides on how to get to all of these skill point guys to really be able to rack up some serious points on your guys. If you use the What's Missing app, it's really helpful. You can kind of scroll through all your characters and check and see who needs the points the most, and also keep track of who's missing the most public dungeon points. Maybe they don't have very many that they're missing, and they're missing more just regular group dungeons. Who knows? But the public dungeons are really fruitful to get points on your character. So keep an eye out for new ones, new videos that I'm going to do on this. If you're interested, please consider liking the video and subscribing to my YouTube channel. I have a very large catalog of videos on there. If you go to my main page on my YouTube channel and go to the playlist tab, you'll be able to find all of that organized content there. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you in another video. Bye.